When I got up, went out of the hotel, I realized instantly I was being followed by plainclothes policemen. And it's been one of the most surreal days of my life. I've never been followed before. I'm probably not by girls, obviously, but not by plainclothes Greek policemen. And anyway, so yeah, I've just gone to the to the local police station for the second time today in order to complain about this. Because I thought I'm going to try and deal with this rationally. I went lunchtime and I said, look, I'm not a threat. I think there's something badly wrong if you're following me around here. You know who I am. You've checked me out. I'm not a terrorist. I'm not about to kill David Rockefeller. I'm nothing. I'm a nobody. Can you call them off? It's just getting annoying. And they were very nice, and they said, yes. And then I didn't see anything for a couple of hours, and just now I suddenly went, oh, here we go. I'm being followed again. And I've been really badly followed again for the last... I've been followed now. This is weird. I'm on the phone, I'm being followed. It sounds very strange saying that, I'm being followed. But I'm being followed by a plainclothes policeman along the street.
Oh, try having 4 of them start punching you and saying you better stop reporting on this. That's the next level of this, Mr. Skelton. That's happened to me before. Now, let's expand on this. Where are you? Where are the goons? You ought to just pull over and walk over and talk to them. Or they'll probably drive past you. I would pull over, or if you're not in a car, stop. Act like you're afraid, because they get off on that. Then they'll start coming up closer, get photos, and run up and talk to them with the phone. That's the way I would do this.
Well, I've had a few conversations with them, and, I had one about 20 minutes ago with a guy where and I hate to say this about a police force of which I don't have much experience, but they don't seem very good. I mean, I'm not. I don't really. My experience of trying to avoid.
No. Tyranny's always run by guys that. No. I mean, they're guys that always. It's a mix in Soviet Russia, Communist China, Nazi Germany, East Germany, of people that look like they're 14 years old, as I've seen the photos, with pot-bellied thugs. This is tyranny. Yeah. Always has morons working for it. So. Yeah. Where are you now? Let's go talk to him right now. You were saying you were. I can't. They've gone now. There was a guy on a motorcycle. He's circled off. I headed towards him. He's circled off. So he'll be replaced in a minute. It's perfectly unbelievable. I wrote today. It's like being in my own episode of The Equalizer. It's just extraordinary. And now, what are you going to do when the media says? Hold on, let me stop you, Mr. Skelton. What are you going to do when newspapers say you're a liar, Bilderberg doesn't exist, and none of this happened?
Well, I think I would refute that.
And they'll call you a kook. They'll say they'll say Greece doesn't exist. You understand? That's how they operate. I'm not kidding. I get emails saying there's no European Union.
Really?
Oh, yeah. These people, Limbaugh says that the CFR doesn't exist.
Oh, my goodness.
Anyways, I'm going to shut up, Mr. Skelton. You're on with us. Tell us what it's been like today. You say you've talked to him. Please continue.
Well, I was just going to say that for about sort of 15, 20 minutes, it was very exciting. I've got to confess, it was very exciting. I was being followed along. I managed to double back through a cafe. I managed to make my tail. I managed to talk to them, make them admit they were policemen. I took their photograph. They didn't like that. And but hopefully that photograph's been published now on the Guardian website.
No, that's the spirit. That's the spirit.
But, and then it was great. And then I went to the... great, it wasn't great, obviously, I was being followed. But then I went to the police station. I said, can you stop? They were very nice, and they said yes. And do you know what? And now I'm annoyed. I'm furious, and I feel threatened. I feel like I've been criminalized. I'm walking around. To the best of my knowledge, I'm a decent, upstanding citizen, and I've been criminalized by the presence of Bilderberg here. They have put pressure onto the local police to follow me around, and that's just not fair. They can check me out. They know who I am. And can they not make a rational decision on that? No, they can't. They've got to harass me at a very low level, but it's just constant. And, I'm really disheartened by it. I really am.
Well, I'm reading some of the headlines of your latest dispatches, the London Guardian, as they were on screen, and it sounds almost apologetic, like our man is sorry he's causing so much trouble. Why is that the spin? So it's bad secret police keep kidnapping you every day and taking you away? I mean, you were kidnapped twice. When George Bush at a press conference ordered me kidnapped for an hour, and then they threw me out on the side of the highway. That was kidnapping. I mean, you've been kidnapped, and instead it looks like the newspaper's apologizing for you.
Well, no, that's me apologizing. That's me. That's my words, and I'm saying the point I'm making in that piece. The point I'm making is that, I'm coming at this. Obviously, as an English guy, middle class, well brought up by my middle class parents.
That won't help you. They know you're evil now.
The way I want to deal with this is to be polite, gentlemanly. I want to shake hands and say no hard feelings. Awfully sorry. Can't believe I got you into this. Everyone, isn't it a terrible situation? Sorry, everyone. Oh well, let's have a cup of tea, right? Now that's basically the way I've been trying to handle it. I've been very nice to them. Obviously, I'm still nice, but I haven't had that returned back to me, and I feel let down by that. And that's me being naive. I know, and I know you'll shout at me now, but I did kind of expect them to play the game in a kind of honourable way and to say, okay, we know who you are, but so we're going to leave you alone. You're not a threat.
Well, listen, they're imploding the government by design, Mr. Skelton. DynCorp and Halliburton in the Financial Times of London, BBC, Chicago Tribune run giant child kidnapping rings. The CPS right here in Austin puts bounties out for, what adoption agencies, what type of kids they want, and go out literally scoping kids out in public school and to steal. I mean, Mr. Skelton, the government is completely criminal worldwide. They're not going to be gentlemanly. I mean, are you kidding? These are criminals.
Yeah, I'd like to make a distinction between... Oh, sorry, there seems to be a whole neighbourhood of dogs barking. Apologise for that. I'd like to try and make a distinction, or maintain a distinction between the local police who are under pressure by, Bilderberg being here, and they obviously are under pressure. I know that. I appreciate that. And they've been bought off or whatever. They're just under some kind of under the thumb here. And a distinction between them and the powers that be who are up the hill, because basically the local police and me are at the same level of the pyramid. They're just me. They're just me wearing a silly hat. But the people up the hill are at the top of the pyramid, and neither me nor the police have got anything to do with them, really. And unfortunately, these guys playing around with their guns and their motorcycles, following me, thinking it's such a funny game. Isn't this brilliant? We've got them under surveillance. They're playing the big government's game, and they're playing the Bilderberg's game, and that's just infuriating. You just want to shake them and say, for God's sake, you're following the wrong person.
Well, no, listen, but they're following the right person. You're the good guy with a major newspaper trying to show a criminal, illegal, violating federal and I know British laws. They're in there setting policy and deciding, okay, you want all the power plants in Texas? Our guy Perry's here, he'll give them to you. That actually happened 2 years ago. Oh, you want us to hand all the roads over in the U.S. to a foreign bank? Sure, here they are. Oh, you want a world tax? You want, look, the military and police are there to guard the criminal elite. Just like in Nazi Germany, you could say their police and military might not all been bad guys. In fact, a lot of them were nice guys bouncing babies on their knees when they were at home at night and cleaning the dishes. But during the day, they were lining up families in pits and shooting them. And let me tell you, this following orders to spy on Americans without warrants, and this following orders to arrest now hundreds of citizens for photographing police in England under terror charges, and you can't buy seeds now under EU law because you're a terrorist. Sir, we're going into bondage. That's what happens 99% of the time. That's why the Magna Carta and Bill of Rights and things like that created the new renaissance of liberty, and that's why these enemies of freedom are defecating all over them, and that's why they're enemies. They're enemies of everything good. These are Nazis, whatever you want to call them. They're scum, they're filth, they're trash, and we need to address them for what they are instead of apologizing. I've watched the famous footage of people in Soviet Russia being rounded up, or people in Germany, or people being rounded up in China, and they're always apologetic to the police as they're being taken to their deaths. I'm not going to be apologetic to criminals. I don't care how many uniforms they've got. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to continue your thought, but to say that what I think I've learned so far is that where I put my head above the parapet here is that I've become, in inverted commas, a member of the press. I'm not really a reporter. I work writing stuff for things, but I'm not. I might be a writer, but I'm not a reporter. But I tell you what, as soon as I have a camera and as soon as I'm filing copy somewhere, anywhere, I become a threat. I become a voice, and they prefer the voiceless. and they hate someone with a voice. And I just think we're living for a brief period, I don't know how long, in an age where it's technologically possible for everyone to become a reporter.
Well, let me tell you what happened.
For everyone to stick a lens in the windows of the delegates' cars as they go up to build a
And that's why the British government is saying photography in public is an act of terrorism, because they don't want it. And I agree with you. The power of the citizen press, not just a London Guardian reporter, is incredible. Now, let me expand on that. The Bilderberg Group made the cold-blooded decision. When they drive into events with blackened windows, they hold newspapers up to their faces because they know they're engaging in criminal acts and taking over nations. Now, you're there. This is happening. They made a cold-blooded decision, because I've been told they've arrested and detained a bunch of people, and I want you to tell us about that. They've made the cold-blooded decision. This is kind of taking the gloves off. I've never seen it where they're just arresting and detaining people en masse 2+ miles away, according to Tucker. So they've made a conscious decision to get all the bad publicity because they don't want anybody seeing who is at that meeting. Now.